beneath the dazzling lights of Las Vegas. Danger hides in plain sight, and it was there, against all odds, that I learned what it means to truly fight back. Have you ever had a single night tear through your world, leaving nothing but ruin behind? That's what happened to me. Even now, when the rain falls at night against my window and the city smells like wet asphalt and broken dreams, I remember every burning detail as if Las Vegas itself branded my skin. I was 27, just trying to survive. A nobody, a girl with olive skin, a mess of dark curls, and freckles dusted across my nose, invisible behind the poker lights of the Crimson Rose Casino. They say casinos have no clocks, no windows. It's true. Sometimes I thought I'd become invisible, too. My name is Ann Shepard, and that Thursday changed everything. I just finished a double shift. My feet ached in my cheap heels, and I could still smell whiskey and cigarette smoke clinging to my black uniform. That's when Damon Russo, the owner's son, all sharp cheekbones and blue eyes colder than the chips he threw around so carelessly, decided I was his next prize. He cornered me in the high roller's room, his cologne thick, the kind that makes you dizzy, expensive enough to buy a beat-up car. Why the attitude, Anne? He smirked, pressing closer. I breathed in, fighting to ignore his hand drifting too low on my hip. You should let me walk you to your car tonight. Management's orders, he said, but something in his tone made my skin crawl. I shook my head, clutching my tips. He hated being told no. Damon lived in a world where no didn't exist, especially not from staff, especially not from women like me. 10 minutes later, security came for me. 2 men in suits, faces set like statues. They didn't ask. They just grabbed my arm right in front of everyone and marched me to the back office. Ann Shepard, you're being accused of theft. One of them, Vincent, who'd once lent me a cigarette on a slow night, said flatly, not meeting my eyes. The pit of my stomach dropped, my blood roared in my ears. Someone I already knew who had claimed to see me slip a wad of bills from the cashier's drawer into my purse. Are you kidding me? I tried to laugh, but it sounded more like choking. Check the cameras. Check my damn purse. But nobody wanted the truth, not right then. Damon lounged in his father's leather chair, twirling casino chips in his hand, watching me. Maybe you shouldn't have made things so difficult, Anne, he whispered. Audacity like gasoline, pouring over everything I'd ever tried to build. My purse was emptied. Nothing. Of course. It didn't matter. Damon stared at me down, jaw ticking, as if daring me to call him a liar. I looked at the crowd of faces, silent, hungry for drama, nobody stepping in. At that moment, I was less than nothing. Before I could protest again, I was being shoved out through a back hallway, rain pelting the asphalt outside like tiny knives. Fired on the spot. My name is soiled. Every tip I earned swept into a jar on the manager's desk. Pending investigation. My hands shook as I tried to call my mother. Voicemail. I texted my neighbor instead. Can you get Lily from school today? Emergency. By the time I got home, shivering in my damp uniform, the worst part hadn't even started. The owner's security men came to my apartment door. I could hear their boots in the stairwell, the low growl of their voices. I pressed myself against the battered wood, heart pounding. I picked up my daughter's picture and clutched it to my chest, breathing her in. For Lily, I couldn't collapse. Flashback to my first night at Crimson Rose, the owner's wife shaking my hand, seeing the worry in my eyes, giving me a secret smile. You can always come to me, Anne, she'd said. Where was she now? My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Don't try to run. We need you to come with us for questioning. My mouth went dry. Mommy, who's that? Lily asked in her sleepy voice from the bedroom. I tried to sound brave. Just some work stuff, honey. Nothing to worry about. I kissed her, tucked her under my coat, shivering together in the dark. The city outside seemed crueler than ever, lights flashing like a lie. I had a choice. Let them take me quietly or fight for my name when no one believed me. A knock. Firm. Echoing. I reached for the door, counting heartbeats. From the other side, I heard a new, unfamiliar voice. Deep, velvet, dangerous. Anne, it's Victor Hawley from the casino. Please open up. I'm here to help you. I froze. Victor Hawley, the CEO. The man I barely spoken to, who always walked through the floor haloed by bodyguards and rumors. A man untouchable by people like me. Why would he be at my door? Hope flickered, then fear. Was this a trap? Should I open it? Would you trust the devil you know, or the devil you don't? Victor Hale's voice sounded nothing like I expected. Not cold and ruthless, but low, protective, with a rough edge, as if he'd smoked too much or maybe just seen too much misery. Still, I hesitated, my hand hovering above the deadbolt, imagining headlines with my name smeared red across them. If Lily wasn't asleep in the next room, maybe I would have run. But all I could think of were her chubby fingers tracing letters on our cracked kitchen table, her voice. Will we ever go to Disneyland, Mommy? What kind of mother could let this break her? A second knock, this time softer. Anne, I know you're scared, but you're not alone. I saw what happened. Let me in before the others arrive. Trust me, just this once. I turned the lock with trembling fingers. The door opened and Victor Hawley stepped inside, bringing the scent of sandalwood and rain-soaked cashmere with him. He wore a dark suit, open at the collar, his jaw shadowed, hair still damp from the downpour. For a moment I couldn't speak, not because he was beautiful, though he was, in that dangerous, haunted way, but because he radiated power. Real power, the sort that bends rules and saves or destroys on a whim. He looked around my tiny apartment, eyes lingering on the peeling paint, the second-hand furniture, the pink backpack lying by the couch. I straightened, trying to hide my shame. His gaze returned to me, steady, unreadable. You have a little girl, he said, almost to himself. I nodded, and for a heartbeat, the world shrank to just the two of us and the rain against the window. She doesn't know what's happening. Please don't wake her. Please. He nodded, gentle. I'm not here to hurt you, Anne. His voice changed, deeper, more confidential. But we don't have much time. Vincent and the other guards were ordered to bring you in. Damon's already spreading stories. If you come with me, quietly, I can keep you away from the police, for now. I stared. Are you saying you believe me? No one's even looked at the footage. My voice caught. They just listened to him. He knelt down beside the couch, so our eyes were level. Damon is my cross to bear, Anne. But you have something he can't stand. Dignity. You said no. I laughed, bitter. That's not worth much tonight. It is to me. For a second, I almost believed him. But reality crashed in. You're the CEO. Why risk all this? For me? A muscle twitched in his jaw. Maybe I'm tired of seeing innocent people tossed to the wolves so the wolves' sons can play pretend. He glanced at my hands, still shaking. Pack whatever you need for Lily. We can't stay here. As I rushed to fill a bag, pajamas, medicine, Lily's favorite bear. He strode to the window, scanning the street with a predator's calm. I could see the outline of a gun at his side, but his hands were steady. So different from Damon's casual violence. Lightning flashed. For a moment, his face looked carved from stone. Then Lily woke, rubbing her eyes. Mommy? I dropped to my knees, hugging her close, smelling her baby shampoo, the only softness in my life. We're going on an adventure, honey. With my friend Victor. Lily eyed him serious. Is he a good man? Victor hesitated, then bent down so they were face to face. Sometimes good men have to do bad things to protect the people. I promise I'll keep your mommy safe. Will you trust me? Her tiny hand slipped into his, and something in my chest cracked open. For once, just once, I let myself hope. We slipped out into the storm, Victor shielding us under one massive umbrella, his arm strong around my trembling shoulders. The parking lot was a wash of neon and rain. He opened the back door of a gleaming black Maserati, helped Lily with her seatbelt, and handed me a towel. I wanted to cry, just for the gentleness. As he drove, his hand gripped the wheel tight enough to blanch his knuckles. There's a safe apartment on the other side of town. Damon won't risk coming there or sending anyone. Just stay out of sight until I can get the security footage and prove you didn't take anything. I need time to deal with him and his father. Silence hung between us, thick as the fog on the windshield. I toyed with the hem of my sleeve, staring at the city lights streaking by. You know, I never wanted casino drama. I just wanted to put food on the table. He glanced over, softer now. Sometimes surviving is the bravest thing we ever do. My phone lit up with messages, some from my mother, frantic, 2 from my neighbor, bless her. 1 from an unknown number, "You're done here, thief. Stay gone." My stomach twisted in knots. I handed the phone to Victor. "Can you make them stop?" He took it, thumbed out a message I couldn't see, and tossed the phone onto the dash. "Don't worry, I have people who owe me favors. How do you know whom to trust?" I blurted. "Seems everyone wears a mask at Crimson Rose." His expression darkened. "In my line of work, you learn the hard way. Trust, loyalty, family, they're just words until someone proves otherwise. But you, Anne, walked into the lion's den and never looked away. That's courage, whether you know it or not." A cold shiver ran through me. "Courage is a luxury for people with options," he countered. "A mother with nothing left to lose is the most dangerous person in any room. Don't forget that." We reached the safe house, a sleek penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows, the whole city spread glittering beneath. When Lily ran to the glass, wide-eyed, Victor knelt beside her, pointing out landmarks. "See that? That's where dreams come true, little one. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." I peeled off my wet clothes, feeling raw and exposed. I found a robe in the closet, far too expensive, silky against my skin. I stared at myself in the bathroom mirror, red-eyed, terrified, cheeks streaked with tired tears. Victor tapped softly at the door. "Hot tea on the table if you want it. And Anne, you did nothing to deserve this. Tomorrow things start changing. I promise." For once, I let myself believe him. I walked out, bracing for a trick, a demand, a price for safety. But all he did was gesture for me to sit, pouring tea with steady hands. "Do you miss your old life?" he asked quietly. I looked away. What old life? This was all I had. Even when I was invisible, at least I belonged somewhere. Now, you will again. And this time, no one will take it from you. Not Damon, not Nutty One. Lily was already snuggled on the couch, watching old cartoons. I suddenly fiercely wanted this to be real. The warmth, the safety, the man who didn't look at me like I was broken. But out there, Damon was spinning his narrative, turning friends against me, making calls. And deep in my bones, I knew that comfort never lasted. Not for women like me. The rain lashed harder against the glass as Victor stood beside me. The city lights reflected in those dark, secret eyes. "Anne," he said, voice impossibly gentle, "tomorrow we start fighting back. I just need you to be strong for one more night." I tried to smile, but all I could say was, "I'm so tired of being strong alone." He touched my shoulder, warm and grounding. "Then let me carry the heaviness for once. I've got you." Something softened between us, unspoken but real. And as thunder rolled, I heard Lily's soft breathing, felt Victor's steady presence at my side, and thought, maybe, just maybe, even the broken get a night's peace. In the darkness, Victor's phone buzzes with a message only he can see. His jaw tightens, the promise of tomorrow's storm hanging between us. If you felt even a fragment of what I did that night, or if you've lived moments where everyone turned on you and you had nowhere left to run, please share your story or thoughts here. This is more than just drama. It's about finding a little hope where no one expects it. Let me know where you're watching from, too. It matters to me, truly. And if you want to see how Anne's fight continues, don't forget to follow. Oder antendi perfidamente o su pedido. Famos mergelhar ainda mais fando na ferida aberta de injustica. No medo paralisante e na tensa de Anne. Mostrando como o trauma se enrosca e nas coisas mais normais. Nos diálogos com Victor, Lily e outros orador. Cada fala pesada, cada detalhe sensorial. Doloroso. E tudo isso sem perder o fio da trama e mantendo a esperança como uma linha tênue. Pronto para esse mergulho? Block 3 Nightmares and Shadows. The weight of accusation, that first night in Victor's penthouse, I didn't sleep. My body was safe, but my mind spun wild like rats caught in a trap. Every time I closed my eyes, The casino lights flickered behind my lids, neon and violent. All those hungry faces waiting for me to fail. Fear made my skin itch, crawling up from the marrow, so I curled into myself on the huge guest bed and wrapped the expensive robe tighter, wishing it was armor. Around midnight, the city glared through the wall of windows, and I shuffled to the kitchen just for something to do. Victor was there, alone in the gray-blue dark, sleeves rolled up, a heavy glass of whiskey untouched before him. He looked up, eyes digging straight through me. "You should be resting," he murmured. I couldn't help the harsh laugh. How? Every time I close my eyes, I see myself in that office. Damon's smirk. Vincent's betrayal, everybody just watching. He nodded, slow and heavy, as if every word weighed 1,000 pounds. "Tell me what you see. All of it." His words undid something in me. I braced my arms on the marble counter, breathing in the fresh scent of lemon polish beneath the sour burn of whiskey. The silence stretched, swallowing whole all the pain I'd kept locked away. I see my manager's face Kathy's disgust. She always called me kid, you know? But tonight she looked at me like I was something she scraped from her shoe. Like I'd been hiding this darkness all along. I shook, fighting not to let tears break through. Damon set me upright in front of everyone. Nobody wanted to listen, even Vincent. He just looked at me and said, "Sorry, kid, orders are orders." I thought he was my friend. Guess friends are for people with better lives. Victor's voice was just above a whisper, blade sharp. Men like Damon, they count on silence, on everyone facing the wall and pretending they don't see. That makes women like you dangerous. I stared at him. I don't feel dangerous. I feel doomed. He stood, crossing the kitchen to pour me a glass of sparkling water. As I sipped, he leaned in, his presence filling the space between grit and despair. And fear makes you question everything you know about yourself. But look at you now, you didn't run even with everything against you. My voice cracked. What else could I do? My daughter was home. I had nowhere to go. The police? I bit my lip. They'd believe him. Damon's got the money, the name. I'm nothing. Don't say that. His hand gripped the edge of the counter, and something fierce flashed in his eyes. You matter. More than any bastard with a powerful father and a mouthful of lies. I almost believed him just for a breath, but the years of swallowing humiliation wouldn't let hope in so easily. The lights flickered as a storm rumbled over the strip. I could see my reflection, small and lost, beside Victor's broad frame. "You know what hurt most?" I whispered. "My mother called me tonight. She'd seen something on Facebook. People saying I always gave off this vibe. Like they were always right about me. I don't know how to make her believe I'm not what they say." Victor's jaw set. Family wounds are the hardest. You spend your whole life trying to earn back trust that should have never been taken from you. When I looked up, Lily had appeared silently in the doorway, clutching her old bear. Her eyes shone half awake, half terrified. She waddled to my side and grabbed my fingers. "Do I have to go to a new school, Mommy?" That question broke me in half. I dropped to her level, hugging her so tight she squirmed. "No, sweetheart, you'll go back soon. This is just a grown-up mess that isn't yours to fix." She nestled in closer, her hair warm and sweet against my cheek. "Are the bad men coming to get us?" Victor kneeled, seriously, meeting her gaze. "No one will hurt you while I'm here, Lily." "That's a promise." The words sounded like steel and velvet. And as much as I wanted to doubt, Lily nodded solemnly and asked, "Can I sleep next to Mommy?" Victor swept his hand to the couch. "Anywhere you want, Princess." "My house, my rules." I glanced back at Victor, grateful but wary. "You keep saying you can protect us. But what about your own life? Damon's your problem too." His face shifted, something dark passing behind his eyes. "Damon's name buys him a lot, but not everything. Someday, someone needs to remind that kid that money can't buy integrity." I tried to do it quietly. His jaw tightened. Maybe it's time for louder methods. The storm pounded harder against the glass, as if Las Vegas itself wanted to drown out every secret. Out of the silence, my phone buzzed on the counter, a text from my brother back in Carson City. "Are you really a thief?" Mom won't stop crying. Why did you drag us into this? I nearly dropped the phone. My shame knotted inside me, sticky and raw. Victor read over my shoulder, quiet. Want me to answer that for you? I bristled. No, that's my hell to survive, not yours. People always believe the worst. It just hurts more when it's family. He touched my elbow, strong and gentle all at once. They'll see. But it takes time for truth to scrub out a stain. In the morning, we'll start erasing every lie Damon told. I swear it, Anne. As I slid into bed with Lily, her tiny feet pressed in my stomach, I clung to Victor's words, but doubt chewed at me all night. I dreamed of the casino, Damon's smile, the circle of onlookers hungry for blood, of everyone I cared about turning away, shutting me out because I never belonged anywhere safe. Morning slipped in gray and cold. Victor waited in the kitchen, his phone pressed to his ear, talking in a voice so calm it scared me. His bodyguards stood alert in the hall, silent as shadows. The kitchen filled with the aroma of coffee and something sweet, real food, not the dollar store cereal I usually bought. A knock at the door startled us both. Victor strode to answer, not with fear, but with a predator's authority. I braced myself for anything. A woman's voice echoed from the hall, soft, urgent, with an edge of desperation. I recognized her at once. The owner's wife, Margaret Russo, who'd once shown me tiny kindnesses in the sea of casino cruelty. Victor ushered her inside. Her eyes were rimmed red, her lipstick smudged, but she ignored me at first, homed in on him. Did you get it? He nodded, motioning her to the couch. Then she turned to me, really looked at me the way mothers look at children in pain. And can I hold your hand? I let her shakily. She squeezed my fingers, grief tangled in her grip. I know what my son did. I warned my husband, but he wouldn't listen. He trusts Damon too much, never sees the poison he's become. Tears glittered in her lashes. Victor and I were going to help you, but you need to be strong. I nodded, barely breathing. Margaret looked at Victor, fear and hope blended in her face. You have 24 hours before Lou finds out you helped her. Use it. Victor drew me aside, urgent. We have one day, Anne. Today we fight back. I swallowed, voice rasping. But what if Damon finds us first, or Luke comes after you? He grinned, the kind of crooked, dangerous smile that could start wars or end them. Let them come. This time they mess with someone who has nothing left to lose and everything to prove. In that moment, the fear twisted into something sharp. Not quite hope, but maybe the outline of it. For the first time since the nightmare began, I wanted to face my demons head on. For Lily, for myself. As Victor handed Margaret a burner phone and laid out a plan to gather evidence, my heart thudded. If truth is all I have left, I'll weaponize it, even if it breaks me. And then, as if the world itself agreed, another buzz shook Victor's phone. An anonymous tip, a shadow of another betrayal, or the key to my freedom. Victor reads the message, his face darkening. He lifts his eyes to mine, and for a breath, I wonder, are we running out of time, or are we finally getting close? Daylight doesn't chase away the nightmares. It only sharpens their edges. I sat with Margaret Russo, her hands shaking around a chipped mug, wedding ring glinting like a shackle while Victor paced, phone pressed to his ear, voice rough with urgency. Every minute ticked louder in that penthouse. I sipped coffee I couldn't taste. I kept glancing at Lily, who was drawing little suns and hearts on hotel notepaper, not knowing her mother's world was hanging by a thread. Margaret leaned in, her whisper trembling. Anne, I need to be honest. This casino? It eats people alive. I've watched girls like you come through for years, sweet, hardworking, brave. Most of them just disappear when Damon sets his sights. Her eyes glassed over, haunted. But you stood up to him. My son thinks he's untouchable. He's never faced a woman who fights back. My throat closed up. I don't want to fight. I just want to go home. She squeezed my hand, fierce and desperate. I know, but if you don't fight, you'll never be safe. Not you, not Lily. The Russens cover things up, make people vanish. Please promise me you'll see this through. I nodded, heart pounding so loud I thought she could hear it. Victor reappeared, his face thunder dark. Security footage is encrypted. All requests have to go through Lou himself. We'll have one shot, Margaret. You'll distract Lou at the board meeting. Buy us time. She drew a shaky breath. If Lou finds out I helped you, he cut her off, gentle for a man made of stone. Trust me. I'll make sure he doesn't. He turned to me, voice low. Anne, I need you to do something for me. Remember every detail, where you were, who you saw, even things you thought didn't matter. Someone besides Damon had access to that drawer. Anything at all. Can he do that? I tried to remember the clattering of chips, flashes of faces, voices swirling. Last night felt like a wound that wouldn't close. The bartender, Jace, brought Damon a drink. Kathy was on her phone, looking agitated. Vincent was jittery, kept watching the hallway. Victor's eyes narrowed. It fits. Damon would never plant evidence himself. He'd use someone desperate. I felt shame flush up my neck. Vincent used to lend me money for bus fare on slow nights. I trusted him. He took my hands, gentle but unyielding. And this isn't your fault. The people with power just want to break you because they can't control you. A bitter laugh. People like me are easy to break. We don't have much left inside. He knelt, eyes level with mine. That's where you're wrong. No one fights harder than someone protecting their child. Lily looked up, as if she felt the shift in the room. Mommy, are you sad again? I forced a smile, tears pricking my eyes. No, sweetie, just thinking about how brave you are. About how much I love you. Victor stood, voice clipped. We have 3 hours. After that, every camera in that building gets overwritten. We need to move. Margaret gulped, standing, smoothing her blouse as if dressing for war. If Luke catches me stalling, Anne could end up buried in stories nobody would believe. I'll do it. I have to. If anything happens to Victor or me, you run and never look back. A chill traced my spine, but I nodded. Thank you. I'll never forget this. She smiled, crooked and sad. You remind me of myself before I learned how much it costs to stand alone. Victor grabbed his coat, sliding a burner phone into my hand. Stay in this apartment, lock every door. No one gets in unless it's me. I reached for his arm, voice cracking. What if something goes wrong? He stared at me, unblinking. If I'm not back by midnight, take Lily and disappear. I'll find you wherever you go. That's my promise. Before he left, our eyes met, so much unsaid. So much I needed to believe. He brushed a curl from my cheek, softer than anyone had touched me in years. Don't let fear be your jailer, Anne. You've already survived hell. Now let's light it on fire. He closed the door, and with it, my final shield against the world. The silence pressed in, heavy and suffocating. Lily pulled me to the couch, wordless, and settled in my lap as if she could hold my heart together by touch alone. Time crawled. I jumped at every creak, every rumble of thunder. Anxiety ate at me. What if this was a trap? What if Victor never came back? What if Margaret's kindness cost her more than she could bear? For hours, all I could do was wait and pray. Pray that truth, even when twisted, could survive long enough for someone to hear it. Just after 11 p.m., my phone buzzed. One new message, unknown number. You made the wrong enemies. Leave now if you want to keep your daughter safe. My hands trembled as I stared at Lily, curled asleep in my arms. For a heartbeat, I considered fleeing, just grabbing her and running to nowhere. But something like steel clicked into place inside me. For the first time, I was done letting them chase me out of my own life. The door handle rattled. A heavy shadow stretched beneath it. Someone was out there, and this time there was nowhere left to hide. If you've ever felt cornered and alone, like the world was spinning out rumors faster than you could breathe, I hope you know you're not alone, not ever. Share a piece of your story, or just tell me you're here. That simple act means the world. And don't forget, your voice matters. Always. The noise at the door stopped being mere wind or paranoia. Now it was deliberate, patient, someone who had broken hearts before. Someone who knew that every invasion starts with waiting you out. My breath turned to glass. All I heard above the thunder was the ticking of the clock roll, each second a reminder that hope was running out. Lily stirred in my arms. I whispered, trying to keep the terror out of my voice. Stay real quiet, baby. Don't make a sound, okay? She nodded, eyes wide and eerily calm, the kind of calm only children raised on chaos ever learn. I kissed her forehead, trying to pass her whatever courage I had left, though inside I felt hollowed out. The noise stopped. Careful, I crept to the door, gripping my phone, filming shaky video through the peephole. A figure, tall, tense posture, something nasty in his breathing. Not Victor. Not Margaret. Retreat, I snatched up Lily, grabbed my phone, locked us in the bathroom, pressed my entire body against the door. My phone buzzed. Another message from that same anonymous number. I know where you are. This is your last chance to run. I started to cry, just softly, never letting Lily see. She lay across my lap, clutching her teddy bear, whispering, "We'll be okay, Mommy." You promised. The bathroom light was cold. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. Tangled hair, deep lines under my eyes, hands red from clenching. A woman past exhaustion, a woman still refusing to break. The sounds out in the apartment were shifting. 2, maybe 3 men. Footsteps scraping. Suppressed laughter. Voices, each one a promise of pain. And then silence again. Worse than any threat. The still, watchful silence of cruelty. I dialed 911, fingers fumbling, and hung up before the second ring. No use. Not when you're accused and the casino's name means more than yours. By the sink, I found a pair of scissors, small, but heavier than they should have been. I felt embarrassed to only have this. The phone pinged once more. This time it was Victor. If anyone gets in, use anything. Police won't make it. I'm coming, trust me. I wrote back, don't be long. Please don't be long. Then the doorknob jiggled again. A click, something being unlocked. A spare key. Swallowing the urge to scream, I pulled Lily close. If I tell you to run, you run as fast as you can, baby. Yell for help. Got it, she nodded, lips trembling but brave. The deadbolt gave way. Suddenly the bathroom door shuddered, then footsteps, heavy and slow. Vincent's voice, dragging, familiar, almost apologetic. Anne, I know you're in there. This doesn't have to get ugly. Give us the flash drive and nobody gets hurt. The flash drive. My one chance, Victor made it clear. It was our salvation and Damon's damnation. But I didn't have it. Nobody did, but they were desperate enough not to care. I found my voice trembling but steel. There is no flash drive, Vincent. Please go. A harsh, nervous laugh. I just want this over, Anne. They made me. Wasn't my idea. Please, just open up. I snapped, anger flaring hot through the fear. All anyone ever has are excuses, right? Nobody's ever actually responsible. You got a family to protect, Vincent? His silence was its own confession. A new voice, a brute I recognized from the casino. If you make us bust in, it gets ugly, lady. My legs were jelly, but my heart had fire again. I remembered Victor's words. A mother with nothing left is the most dangerous thing on earth. I gazed at Lily. If I say run, you run, baby. She nodded, squeezing my hand. The lock splintered. They hesitated, stepping in Vincent in front, face torn with guilt, then the red-headed enforcer. I screamed, voice shredding the air. I have a knife. I will use it. Cops are almost here. A lie but filled with enough panic and truth to buy me a heartbeat. Vincent paused, glancing back, doubt on his face. And then the apartment door slammed open. Victor swept in eyes like thunderclouds, anger radiating. Touch either of them and you answer to me. You heard that, girl. You don't get to walk out alive. The room froze. The men sensed it. He wasn't bluffing. Vincent dropped something. Victor charged, a hurricane of force knocking them aside, scooping up Lily, pulling me tight. His gaze locked with mine, urgency and promise. It's over. You chose to fight. Nobody puts their hands on you again unless you let them. Understood. I managed a shaky nod. Vincent and the enforcer retreated, still barking threats, but we were already running. Victor leading us down the stairs, refusing to look back. In the darkness of the parking garage, he hugged us both, so fierce it hurt. Never again do I want to see that look in your eyes. You're not alone. And this war is just starting. The rain poured, washing away terror and tears. I wasn't just a victim now. I was a survivor alongside a man who knew exactly what it meant to bleed for what's right. Victor's phone buzzes a new video. Damon's hand, clear as day, planting that envelope in my drawer. Proof, finally. But at the end, a warning. I know where you're running next. It's incredible how fast the human spirit can change. One moment trapped, hunted, trembling. The next, gnarled with a kind of hunger raw, righteous, ready to take the fight to the enemy. We stood shivering in the dark parking garage, rain streaking our faces. My old self, always ducking, always apologizing, was already gone. Victor handed me the video clip Damon's hand, the damning evidence. He squeezed my shoulder. This is our bullet, Anne. Use it. I could feel something harden in my chest. I looked at him, voice clear as glass. No more hiding, no more chasing. Tonight Damon learns what it means to be afraid. He grinned, admiration, and a hint of fear crossing his face. Then let's go to war. We drove across the city, headlights slicing the wet streets. I gripped the phone like a weapon and texted Margaret the video. She responded instantly. The board meets at 8 a.m. Put this in Victor's hands, let me do the rest. Victor's plan was clean brutal, but clean. The only way men like Damon lost was if their sins exploded into the open where even his father couldn't bury them. But I wanted something more raw. I wanted Damon to look up just once and see my eyes. He was in his office alone for once, maybe thinking the threat was over. Victor growled, "Want me to go first?" I shook my head. No, if I'm going to take my life back, I need to do it myself. I stepped inside, heart steady. Damon barely looked up, a smirk curling on his lips. You want to beg, Anne, or just cry? I didn't speak. I set the phone down on his desk and pressed play. The scene was silent. Damon's hand, the envelope, the smeared ink on his cuff. I watched the color drain from his face. The predator caged at last. He reached for his phone, maybe to threaten, maybe to beg his father. I knocked it away, fury finally crackling in my voice. You break people and expect us to stay broken. You plant evidence but forget. Mothers never give up their children. You made me desperate, you made me dangerous. He laughed, fake and hollow, but I stood tall. I sent the video to the board, the police, the press, all of them. It's over, Damon. Your protection's gone. The only thing left for you is to be afraid, just like you made me. His eyes went wild, threatening, pathetic. You're nothing, Anne. You're just a waitress. Nobody will believe. I cut him off, fire in my veins. I'm a survivor. That's all I have left. And now that's enough to ruin you. At that moment, Victor burst in, gun drawn. An insurance policy. Damon slumped back, lips trembling, victory evaporated. We left him there, drowning in the ruins of his power. Margaret met us in the hall, eyes blazing. They're taking him out now. Security cameras are public. There will be no more cover-ups ever. Victor hugged me finally, with broken relief. You did it, Anne. Nobody owns you again. Outside, the sun finally broke through the clouds. Lily ran ahead, skipping through puddles, innocence undimmed. I was still shaken, still scared. But from that morning on, I stopped being afraid. I was not what they called me. I was not powerless. I was Anne, and no one would ever write my story for me again. A year had passed. Las Vegas still glittered with the same danger and promise, but nothing in my world could ever be the same again. That morning, a black sedan pulled up to the curb outside my house, the kind of car that only shows up when everything is about to change. I squeezed Lily's hand tight. She was taller now, her braid bouncing, her eyes so much braver than before. I hesitated at the gate until the driver stepped out with a respectful smile and a discreet tone. Miss Anne, Mr. Lou Russo sent me to bring you to the casino. He said it's urgent. My heart pounded. I looked at Lily, who met my gaze with her serene, steady courage. Whatever happens, we go together. Okay? I said softly. She nodded. We slid into the car. The ride was quiet, only the sound of rain against the windows and the road beneath us. For the first time, I realized I wasn't returning as a victim. This time, I got to choose my role. When we reached the casino, I walked across the gaming floor. It all seemed different now and entered the office where I had once felt so small. Lou Russo was waiting. He wore his power like a tailored suit, still imposing, but today there was something new in his eyes, a glimmer of humility. He didn't stand on ceremony. And I won't pretend to be a saint. My son's sins cost this company, our family name, and almost your life. Justice was long overdue. That's why I need you now more than ever. He gestured to a folder with bold lettering, Director of Staff and Women's Safety Initiatives. You know what happens in this casino better than anyone, he said. You survived what no one should ever face, and you had the courage to fight back. I want you to help rebuild this place, protect the vulnerable, ensure no one is ever left unheard, unsupported, or unprotected again. No more secrets. You'll have full authority over staff welfare and hiring, especially supporting women. Will you take this on? For the first time, I saw real remorse, whether he truly wanted to change or just didn't want to lose again. I couldn't be sure. But it didn't matter. This time, I was here for myself, for Lily, and for all the others who might come after us. I looked at my daughter. She squeezed my hand with a proud smile. I stood tall with a resolve that felt entirely new. I accept. But on one condition, every woman in this building will know she's never alone again. That's my promise. Lou nodded, solemn. Make it happen. As I walked back through the casino, everything looked different. The lights were no longer a trap, they were a beacon. I wasn't praying anymore. I was the voice for those who still felt unseen. And once just another name on a roster was now a guardian. Never again afraid, never again alone. We want to hear from you. What did you think of Anne's journey from victim to survivor and victor? Would you like to read or hear more stories like this, diving into the lives of different characters facing real danger and fighting for hope? Did Anne's story resonate with you? Or are there other kinds of characters and struggles you'd love to explore next? Your feedback and suggestions truly matter. This project lives and breathes with your support. Share your thoughts, ideas, or even just a quick "I want more" in the comments or reviews. If this story meant something to you, pass it along to someone who could use a spark of courage. Thank you for following Anne's fight and for believing, as we do, in survival and justice. Until next time, stay strong, keep dreaming, and never let your voice be silenced.